at the weekend's Turning Point Student Action Summit in Tampa.
She also brought in some of our best influencers, people that I care about deeply. Jack Posobiec, who's incredible. Libs of TikTok, Chaya.
On the Megyn Kelly show, explosive tensions erupt around President Trump's public defense of Attorney General Pam Bondi amid the botched Jeffrey Epstein files rollout. As MAGA voices clash and accusations fly from both sides, shocking leaks and internal DOJ strife threaten the Trump administration's promises of transparency. Let's break this down together.
DC Drano. Yeah. And she gave them these binders, and she humiliated them.
She is the reason that things are unraveling around this story right now that virtually all of the Republican Party cares deeply about.
This highlights the internal sabotage and politicization undermining promises of Epstein file transparency, exposing deep fractures within MAGA ranks.
She had made the binders. She bragged about making the cover sheet that read Epstein Files, Phase 1, and she handed them out.
Don't let anybody insult you, anybody, and I mean anybody, ever get away with insulting you instead of answering a legitimate question, okay? Ever.
This is a party, this is a movement that is so transparent that even their cover-ups are transparent. They're not even trying.
The New York Post and others reporting Friday on clashes between AG Bondi and FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino last week. Deputy Director Bongino reportedly taking a personal day on Friday, considering resignation. This journalist's reporting backs this up, that Bongino made clear either Bondi must leave or he will, though my sources say there may be a softening on that front depending on how things are handled in the coming days. An unnamed Justice Department official telling the Post Director Kash Patel may follow if Bongino resigns, however Patel countering that narrative on X over the weekend. Your humble correspondence information is that Kash Patel is not threatening to leave, and there's no danger of that. President Trump posting to Truth Social on Saturday, quote, "What's going on with my boys and, in some cases, gals? They're all going after Attorney General Pam Bondi, who is doing a fantastic job. We're on one team, MAGA, and I don't like what's happening. We have a perfect administration, the talk of the world, and selfish people are trying to hurt it, all over a guy who never dies, Jeffrey Epstein."
Trump's rhetorical dismissal doubles down on deflecting accountability and casts Epstein as a distraction, shifting blame on radical left lunatics and internal critics.
For years, it's Epstein over and over again. Why are we giving publicity to files written by Obama, crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration? They created the Epstein files, just like they created the fake Hillary Clinton, Christopher Steele dossier that they used on me. And now my so-called friends are playing right into their hands. Why didn't these radical left lunatics release the Epstein files? If there was anything in there that could have hurt the MAGA movement, why didn't they use it? Kash Patel and the FBI must be focused on investigating voter fraud, political corruption, Act Blue, the rigged and stolen election of 2020, and arresting thugs and criminals, instead of spending month after month looking at nothing but the same old radical left-inspired documents on Jeffrey Epstein. Let Pam Bondi do her job. She's great. It must be noted here that many in the president's orbit pushed the Epstein case and promised transparency if Trump were elected, including people like Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, and Don Jr. Patel posting to X Saturday afternoon, quote, "The conspiracy theories just aren't true, never have been. It's an honor to serve the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and I'll continue to do so for as long as he calls on me." Democrats, who have spent the last 6 years accusing anyone interested in the Jeffrey Epstein story of being a conspiracy theorist, now suddenly piling on, criticizing the Trump administration for failing to deliver on promises of transparency. California Governor Gavin Newsom and U.S. Senator John Ossoff of Georgia separately here.
Really, Trump? Show us. What do you got? Where's the transparency? What carnies? What flim-flammers? What music men? What bullshit artists these guys are. Not even good ones either. Not even good ones.
He promised to release the Epstein files. Did anyone really think the sexual predator president who used to party with Jeffrey Epstein was going to release the Epstein files?
U.S. Congressman of Maryland Jamie Raskin Friday on MSNBC suddenly super interested in Jeffrey Epstein, calling for hearings. Of course, as a Democrat in the House minority, he can't actually mandate one.
It'd be much better for everybody to come clean, and let's vindicate the public interest here. I'm going to be asking Chairman Jordan to call for a hearing where we subpoena the Attorney General and Dan Bongino and Kash Patel to come in and tell us everything that we know, because this thing is really spinning out of control at this point. And there's one way to put it to rest, which is to come clean, as President Trump promised he would during the campaign.
Republican Congresswoman from Florida, Anna Paulina Luna, a member of the House Oversight Committee and a MAGA ally, saying on Fox News her task force on declassification of federal secrets will continue looking for answers.
I believe the reason why Americans are so frustrated with this process is because of the way that there has been conflicting information out of the Department of Justice. And so what I'm going to be doing along with my task force is requesting information not pertaining to victims, not pertaining to CSAM, that should be out there for the American people to decide. I will say that the way that the administration rolled out the JFK files, of which, by the way, there has been groundbreaking discoveries in those rollouts, is literally the gold standard for declassification. And there is trust in transparency, and so I will encourage them to continue to do that.
This story is far from over. Our reporting continues this week on The Megyn Kelly Show. Coming up, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Gnome slamming a Biden-appointed judge's ruling accusing ICE of conducting indiscriminate roundups in its mass deportation efforts. And a brand new report shedding light on the Secret Service's stunning failures 1 year ago in Butler, Pennsylvania. One congressman says more accountability is still needed. As President Trump is settling into his new administration, one of the top Democrats in Congress aiming to undermine the Trump agenda is Democrat Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois. And according to our sponsor, the Electronic Payments Coalition, Senator Durbin has a new plan, a government takeover of your credit card. Today, Americans have thousands of choices in credit cards, but they say Senator Durbin's plan will result in less competition and less security, which means more risk for your credit and your identity. You can learn more for yourself at guardyourcard.com. And you could consider telling your senators to stop Dick Durbin's government takeover of your credit card before it's too late. On Friday, a Biden-appointed judge in California, Mame Uwisi Mensah Frimpong, who is American with parents from Ghana, ruling some aspects of the Trump administration's mass deportation efforts in the state are likely unconstitutional. The ACLU of Southern California leading the lawsuit, along with other immigrant advocacy groups, on behalf of individuals who have been arrested in recent weeks. These groups accusing the government of conducting, quote, roving patrols, indiscriminately rounding up individuals without reasonable suspicion, they say, then denying access to legal representation. In her 52-page order, the judge stating ICE agents may not rely on the following factors when making arrests, quote, apparent race or ethnicity, speaking Spanish or speaking English with an accent, presence at a particular location, bus stop, car wash, tow yard, day labor pickup site, agricultural site, etc., or the type of work one does. U.S. District Attorney for Central California, Bill Asaley, posting on X, quote, we strongly disagree with the allegations in the lawsuit and maintain that our agents have never detained individuals without proper legal justification. Our federal agents will continue to enforce the law and abide by the U.S. Constitution. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Gnome at a Saturday press briefing going a step further in reacting to this judge, who she mistakenly refers to here as a he.
Yeah, he's an idiot. I mean, he's frankly an idiot. We have all the right in the world to go out on the streets and to uphold the law and to do what we're going to do. So none of our operations are going to change.
Homeland Security Secretary's blunt dismissal of a federal judge's ruling reveals institutional arrogance and defiance toward judicial authority amid claims of indiscriminate ICE arrests.
He made claims that were absolutely false. We are building cases. We are going in on doing our operations and planning them against individuals that we know are dangerous, that are violent, that have criminal activity that they've been involved in, and that's how we're building our cases. So he's making up garbage, filing decisions, and we're going to appeal it, and we're going to win.
Just to follow up, though, before the appeal, you said you're going to continue those operations.
Yeah, our operations will continue. We will be in compliance with all federal judges' orders, but what he said that we couldn't do is go out and target people based on other qualifications that he made up. We're going to continue to do our investigations on criminal activity and uphold the law.
On Thursday, one day prior to this order, ICE officials arresting more than 300 illegal immigrants at a marijuana farm in California. Protesters turning out, clashing with ICE agents in a chaotic scene. The FBI currently offering a $50,000 reward for the capture of one protester appearing to fire a gun toward ICE agents amid the unrest. One farm worker climbing onto a greenhouse roof, then falling off and later dying from his injuries. On Sunday, Secretary Gnome on NBC describing some of the people detained in the marijuana farm operation.
People have heard the president say over and over again about how important it is that we continue to go after the worst of the worst. This week, we've got murderers off the street, rapists, child pedophiles. If you look at that marijuana grow facility that we recently just did an operation on, over 319 individuals were brought into custody and 14 unaccompanied children that means that they don't have their parents with them.
From Epstein Files cover-up drama tearing apart MAGA's credibility to Homeland Security's aggressive mass deportations defying court orders, the conflict spills over into open contempt. Meanwhile, hundreds face arrests amid chaotic protests as the administration's tough rhetoric meets harsh realities. This segment exposes a party struggling between PR spin and accountability. Drop your take below. Who's shaping truth and who's burying it?